union that is rallying around these other Tea Party candidates, for example. He hasn't done that. He hasn't been able to take the support that lies under Bachmann or Perry or Herman Cain and bring them over to his camp. He just hasn't done it.
He hasn't done it.
Ironically enough,
I feel like it is a deliberate plan. It can't be that he's that dumb. I just think it is. It's got to be a deliberate plan. But we have talked enough about this. Let's talk about something new, totally new, folks. You know, Twitter has helped many countries gain independence. The young people have taken to the Twitter, and it has come in very handy the time of war, the time of uprising and all of that. But Twitter is being used in a very different way this time. Everybody knows in Mexico you have drug war. 35,000 people have been killed in Mexico because of drugs. None of the ministers can stay safe. The governor cannot stay safe. The regular folks in town are very scared, and others. So now comes Twitter, the young people. So they're tweeting from the streets. Oh, I see a gang coming up here on the cross-section of such and such street. And people are getting used to it. Now the gangs have figured this out. So they have killed one of the bloggers. They have killed him and given a strong warning. But remember, these are kids. Now, they are saying, even if you kill us, even if you kidnap us, we are not going to disappear. So if Mexico has an opportunity to kill the drugs, here it is. Here is an opportunity for young people to tweet their way and to make sure, give strength to the governing people. Because right now, governing Mexico is a very scary thing.
I think what Twitter gives people is a personal empowerment. By having the ability to broadcast yourself out to a global population, basically, you are able to pinpoint exactly where something is happening and do it real time. And so many people are alerted to exactly what's happening right as you do it.
Not only are they tweeting, though, but they are also actually hacking the computer systems of these drug dealers, drug lords, police, and they're finding connections, and they're putting it on the air. In fact, the United States has told them, hey, you guys are out of your depth. Don't go there if you like your life. But these guys are saying, no, we are going to bring, like you said, a little empowerment to the ordinary people. So I like that.
You know, so many people came to the United States in search of a better life.
Yes.
And in search of the American dream. And
yes.
They were able to achieve it with hard work. And now, of course, people are finding that that's much more difficult to do. And in fact, there are so many things now working against you that American dream, the ability to move yourself upward, is going away. And in this article in Time Magazine, they talk about how your chances of moving up in the world are tied to a complex mix of geography, race, health, and education.
True.
And if you have the right combination of those things, then you can expect to move up. But if you don't, if you're disadvantaged in some way, it gets really, really hard. Let me share some statistics with you. You have an 85% chance of success or moving up in the world if you were able to succeed consistently from the early stages of life, including early childhood to adulthood. In other words, if you were set up the right way, with the right things, you have an 85% shot.
If you have good parentage, good upbringing, good surroundings and environment, yes, you definitely have an 85% chance of success.
You have a 72% chance of success if you're born to an upper income family. If you're Caucasian, you have a 70% chance. Men have a 66% chance of upward mobility. Women, only 62%. Hispanics, 59%. And if you're born to a disadvantaged family, you don't have one parent, or economically you're struggling, you only have a 56% chance of ever breaking out of the circumstances you were born into. 52% if you are a lower income family. This statistic hurts. If you're African American, you only have a 50% chance of moving up out of your mobility from whatever bracket you're in up into the next bracket. And if you fail at any point consistently in your early childhood, you only have a 33% chance of upward mobility, which translates so directly into education, early
age, yeah.
You're talking about elementary school education, and here was something else that I thought was interesting. In the same Time magazine, they talked about how, over the last 20, 30 years, technology has played such a dramatic role in globalizing jobs, not just in globalizing jobs, but in changing the very nature of the jobs that we do today. The McKinsey Global Institute did a research on this topic, and they wanted to know, does technology help create jobs or does it hurt jobs? For example, people can argue...
Normal belief will be that technology hurts creation of jobs.
That's right, because you're basically replacing manpower with machine power.
That's right.
But then people have also argued that technology creates jobs. It creates innovation, and so you find new ways to create new jobs.
Creates new worlds.
New worlds,
but only
new spheres.
few people can go in that world.
That's exactly the point of this article, folks. This was fascinating to me. It could be argued that innovations creates more and better jobs in the future. But the problem is, for example, microchips, technologically at the forefront, only employs 0.6% of the U.S. workforce. So you have a very small number of people who are ever able to accomplish anything in those newly created jobs. These jobs, the ones created by new technology, tend to be skewed towards the very top, software engineers, or the very bottom, the sales clerk. But the jobs in the middle have disappeared.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where we're
machines.
hurting.
Okay.
It's our middle class that seems to be hurting. In fact, the share of middle income jobs in the U.S. fell from 52% back in 1980 to 42% in 2010. So in just 30 years, you've seen a 10% drop. And now these same researchers at McKinsey Global Institute are saying that in fact we're at that tipping point where technology is not actually helping. It's starting to hurt our job situation. And that soon, in the next couple of years, technology may soon be a net job destroyer as opposed to a job creator.
When I thought all this time was President Obama.
Well,
I'm kidding.
Nice try. Of course, there is a way out of this, and the only way out of this, the best hope in fighting the machines, is to improve education, the factor that is most closely correlated with upward mobility. So without that educational base in a very early age, technology is not going to help you find that job in your later years.
That's so true. Folks, space shuttles from NASA are finally being put to rest. They have driven 542 million miles.
It's an amazing number.
That's right. And now they're grounded. None of them will fly again. That has created unemployment for 6,000 people. That's pretty high tech, so I feel like they will be absorbed in some form. But the United States government has decided that they're going to outsource it. So who do you think they outsource it to? Russia. $1.5 billion program put to sleep. Now it only costs $47 million to send one astronaut into space by Russia.
Isn't that interesting? Here we are, and traditionally, Russia and the United States have had kind of a rivalry when it comes to space exploration. And in fact, both countries helped to get those programs off the ground and be successful. And here we are basically now handing